Hi everybody, welcome to the Messy Cook by Dale. I hope you're all doing well, and thanks again for all your support and your likes and your subscriptions. I really appreciate it. Today we're going to be doing sugar cookies. Again, another one of our family's favorites. Of course, cookies in general is our family's favorite. So we're going to do sugar cookies, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to heat up your oven, preheat your oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Always do that first so that you can get going as soon as you're done. So we're going to sift our dry ingredients. You don't have to sift them. I like to sift them. You can also use a whisk and just incorporate them really well. All right, so 3 cups of all-purpose flour. You're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. So that's 1.5. Again, make sure your baking powder is still good and hasn't been in your pantry for years. All right, and some fine sea salt. We're using butter, and by the way, the butter is half the salt, which I like to control. So the sea salt, we're having 1 teaspoon of sea salt. The fine stuff. Okay, and that goes in there. So we're done with the dry ingredients. Oops. So let's sift that without making a mess. I already took out my flour and I made a mess already, but you know, it is what it is, right? Okay, so there we go. Sifting is, I just like to do it because if there's any impurities in the dry ingredients, it will show up there, and there wasn't any, and it sifted nice and airy and fluffy. Okay, so that we're going to put aside. Next is our wet ingredients, and now this time we're not using the big guns. I don't have to take out the big mixer. I'm using my hand mixer. All right, so it starts with butter, and like I said, this is 3 sticks of butter or 1.5 cups, a lot of butter, that is room temperature, and that goes in there. Half the salt, or you can use full salt, but it's probably better half the salt. So we're going to cream that with our mixer. Ooh. Make sure it's the trick for sugar cookies is to make sure that it's really creamed well. The butter is creamed well. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Not creamed that well. Okay, to that we're going to add the sugar, and we have how much sugar? 1.5 cups. There's 1. No, that's a half. So that's a half, and this is 1.5 cups of sugar. I'm better off with the 1/2 cup, really. The apartments always smell so good when we're doing baking. It's hard to resist. Okay, there's 1.5 cups of sugar. It's sugar cookies after all, so you're gonna have the sugar. All right, so bear with me. The creaming of the butter is really important because it will make the cookie nice and smooth and fluffy. Okay. I mean, Dan and I yesterday were talking about making cookies and how buying cookies in the store is just so expensive, and you don't really know what's in them. And cookie making is easy. You know, most of us have all the ingredients in our pantry. I mean, there's no special ingredients here except maybe the butter, but I buy my butter a lot. I buy a lot of butter and I freeze it. So I always have butter in the house. And I'll tell you, when you sit down with a cup of coffee or a big glass of milk and you have some beautiful cookies to eat, it's really special. Okay, so we will add the eggs. That's about as creamed as I'm going to get it at this point. I don't have the patience. I never have the patience for this stuff. Okay, so I always like to crack my eggs into a bowl first, just to make sure they're not bad or whatever, or there's no shells in them. So there's one egg. So let me just wipe my hands. And I'm going to add that into here. So it's 2 large eggs. Again, I like to buy the organic eggs, the free range. Okay, let's do the other one. Where's my bowl? Here. And now we're getting there. Oh, nice and creamy. Okay, then we're going to add the vanilla. And it's a lot of vanilla, a whole tablespoon of vanilla, which is wonderful. I love the smell of vanilla. And again, buy the real stuff. The imitation just is imitation. Okay, so now we're going to give it a good whiz. Okay, let me take a look and see how this is. Oh, that looks pretty good. I'm going to just do it for a little bit longer, just to make sure everything is incorporated. What you don't want to do after, when you put the dry ingredients in, you don't want to mix it that much afterwards, because once the dry ingredients are in there, you have the chance of having really tough cookies, and you want your cookies to be nice and smooth and soft and a good texture. So you don't want to overwork your dough either. At this point, you can overwork it all you want. And what this does also is bring air into the batter, which makes it for a fluffier cookie. All right, that was hard work. Okay, so let's now use our muscles to incorporate the sugar. I mean the dry ingredients. Okay, a little bit at a time. I'm actually going to use the beater. I think it's going to work out much better if I do, but again, I don't want to overwork it. Did I get you? Yeah, I saw a piece of batter fly. Whoop. As much as a messy cook I am the worst at baking when it comes to mess. I make such a mess when I'm baking. And I think Dan has figured that out, because he cleans up after me after I bake, and it's like, whoa, there's a lot. Okay, getting there. Let me put some more in here. Again, you don't want to overwork it. And I'll put the rest in. Slowly, because it will go everywhere. Okay, I would feel more comfortable if I did it myself now at this point. Whoops. Okay, it's time for the hands. Get in there and mix this together. Oh, it feels like a nice dough too. Very nice dough. Now, what some people do, and what I used to do when the kids were young, was that I would use cookie cutters. I would roll it out and use cookie cutters to make all kinds of different shapes for Christmas or whatever. They would help me decorate them sometimes. They weren't all that interested, but I would decorate them with jellies and different kinds of sugars and whatever. But what we're going to do today, and I don't have any young kids around yet, my grandson is coming next year, so We will have something special for him for sure, but right now all I'm going to do is make round cookies, sugar cookies. I won't roll it out. Okay, so it's a little sticky, which is good. And my hands are sticky. Oh, Dan, what do I do now? Okay, so let me just do what I can here, get this off all over the floor. It's all good. Okay. All right, so at this point, it is pretty much done. And now we're going to put them on a cookie sheet. So you're going to get a cookie sheet that is lined with parchment paper, or you can use a Silpat. Yeah, and then I'm going to use, now again, you can roll it out if you want. I would suggest if you roll it out, you put it, wrap it in saran wrap or plastic wrap, put it in the fridge for about a half an hour so it's nice and cold to roll out. It'd be easier. And I'm going to just take my
ice cream.
Right, my ice cream scoop, and I'm just going to make uniform cookies. I used to make smaller cookies when the kids were young, because I didn't want them eating a lot of cookies. So they would get one cookie after school, or maybe two. This way now, you know, we make them bigger because they're better. They're just more fun to eat this way. They're bigger and you don't have to go back for seconds. Although, Dan, do you go back for seconds?
No.
Never. When I make cookies, it's very hard not to eat them all. So, you know what? I'm going to finish these up with the ice cream scoop. I'm going to throw them in the oven at 375. Is that what I said? Yeah, 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're going to cook them for about 9 to 11 minutes. Now, please watch them carefully. You don't want them burned. They're going to be just a little bit of brown around the edges because they'll become too crispy. All right. So I'll see you probably in about 20 minutes or so. See you later. Hi everybody, so welcome back. Here we have it, sugar cookies. They turned out wonderful. As you can see, they're just barely done on the bottom and just a little bit of brown around the edges. That's exactly how you want it. You can make smaller cookies, so you'll have to watch your time in the oven. Just be very careful. Again, you don't want them to overburn or overcook and get burned. All right, so let's give it a try. That's a good cookie. Crispy around the edges, soft in the center. Really good. You're going to love this recipe. I hope you try it. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. It was really fun. I love to share my baking recipes with you, so there's going to be more, so watch for them. Stay safe. Do what you got to do. If you like what you saw, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. That'd be great. And spread the word for me. I really appreciate that. And other than that, forget the mess. Enjoy your sugar cookies. Oh, so good.